If you are someone's child, we all are, by the way, you will feel something after reading this. If you're a parent, you will absolutely feel something after reading this. If you are married, if you are a sibling, there is something for everyone in this book. And the beauty is that we will all experience it differently and take away different amazing points out of this because it will touch your life, I guarantee it. If you picked up Emily Henry's new book, Great Big Beautiful Life, expecting a fun romance story, this may not be it. It surprised me in the best way possible because it's not just a romance, it is a heartfelt, raw, and deeply relatable story about humans and love. And I'm breaking down exactly why this book might just be her most powerful yet. And if you're on the fence, stick around because I am about to convince you it is a must read. First of all, I got this as a free audiobook listener copy from Libro.fm, which is amazing because I was not expecting it to jump up on my TBR queue. I like a lot of Emily Henry books, but she's not, at least wasn't before this, a super auto-buy author. But after this, I am convinced because this was her best yet, absolutely. So thank you to Libro.fm and Penguin Random House Audio for gifting that to me. If you want to learn more about that influencer program, go to this video because I talk all about that. But as a result of this coming as an advanced listener copy, it went straight up my queue. It is no spoilers. I'll let you know when the spoilers are about to come. Okay, so the premise is there's two writers that are competing for the chance to write the biography of this octogenarian Margaret Ives, who is a tragic heiress, former tabloid princess, and daughter of one of the most storied and scandalous families of the 20th century, and no one has seen her in so many years. However, she has more than a couple of plot twists up her sleeve as she invites these two people for a month-long trial period, after which she is going to choose a person who is going to tell her story. But it's not just one love story in here. It is three, actually more, stories of love and so much more stories about non-romantic love with family, friends, and strangers who are really just friends to come. Here is why I loved it without spoilers. This is not just a love story, like I just said. It is a mix of romance, mystery, and deep life lessons. It is a complex and deep message of life about the ultimate sacrifices we make as parents, about the difficulties we all face, regardless of fame, money, power, about how we should do things we love, regardless of whether it brings in money or awards or anything that society deems as precious, how to never take time with our loved ones for granted, and how all of our stories are worth sharing. We all have tragedies in our life, but it is how we come out of it and how we help others journey through similar things as a result of it. And at the end of our lives, to love and be loved in all the different forms is truly the biggest gift of life. This just brings it all back into there. There are touching things like the relationship with her mom that hit me really hard. Friends, if you have hard relationships, it's never too late to fix it, to learn about the other person. We are all different. We experience things differently, but don't assume things about other people and how they perceive things. Remember, you learned this. I learned this a long time ago. Don't assume, because what does that mean? It makes an ass out of you and me, right? Do you remember that from childhood? Yeah, don't assume, especially in the relationships that we find great value. Another thing that I absolutely loved, and by the way, we all experience books differently, which is why I set up a Fable book club, Whole Wellness Mama's book club, and I picked this as the May read. I'll put a link in the description, so come join me. Let's chat as you're reading through. You can read through at your own pace because we all read differently. I listen at 2x on audiobook, but I'm going back through and experiencing so many other things. I know this is from the library, but I'm marking things up so that we can talk about it. But there are chapter by chapter spots so that you can go in, not get spoiled, and write your own comments, and we can interact with each other without spoiling it for each other. I actually really love it, and just started using it. So come join me on the Fable app, add me as a friend. Let's do monthly book clubs together. Back to the book. Look, you also see people that put up their defenses in so many different ways. And it also gave me aha moments of, oh my gosh, people are so different, and it is a different perspective into how different people experience things. So it is an eye opener for me and being able to experience the world differently. It was also so thought provoking that often we do things for the right reasons, but then find out that it turned out differently anyway than we were expecting. How often does that happen, right? You give a loved one space, but yet you see them spiral and you're not able to help them. Those are such hard things where you try to do the right thing, you are trying to make right decisions, but it ends up the same way again. Like giving up Nicolette to see her come into the limelight again. Oh my gosh, that was heartbreaking. Okay, we're going into spoiler alerts because spoiler alerts because I cannot talk more about how much I loved this book without giving you details and quotes and busting out more stuff, okay? So here are some of my favorite parts, but I keep looking back at the hard copy now that I've listened to it once. I found this at the library. It is a 10-day hold, so I have to go run through it real fast and go through it again. But I am loving it in taking in and catching parts that I did not catch the first time. And there is so much depth to it that as you read it, once you go back and you see this mystery unfolding, you pick up on all these different parts. So first of all, there's so many different things, but I'm just going to talk through what I marked up this time around. And I started crying, guys, at the letter at the end. Oh my gosh, I had already listened to it, but then I read it again and it made me cry again. There's just so much depth and emotional connection that, oh, as a crier, this is just, yeah. One thing I loved, I don't even know what chapter this is, but this is Alice talking about how she grew up with her sister, right, who had a condition. And so it was really hard to know if she was going to survive or not every single time something happened. So here she says, I understood what really mattered. I understood my priorities. I understood what in this life was non-negotiable for me. A lot of people don't find out that until it's too late. They wait to say things, they don't get the chance. So collecting other people's stories, learning from their mistakes, it is a gift too. You are who you are right now, in part because of what you did for Len and his family. You cannot control any of that other stuff you worry about, but you can control what you do. And I feel like there are so many things in there that I tell my kids too, of you can only control what you can control, right? Or what you do. And so often we forget our priorities in life and we do all these things thinking that's important. And then you come to the end of your life and that's really not important, right? So that was really great for me. Another one that just gut hit me was as they're talking about Roy and Bernie, who are the mom and her second husband. Margaret is saying, we loved Roy, Laura and I both. He was a good man and he let us be a family. He did what our father couldn't. And what was that? He shared her. That hit me so hard because he shared her, right? The first marriage, even though they loved each other so much, it didn't work because he did not know how to give her what she wanted, which is what she wanted to pursue her dreams and have that opportunity as well. But he just wanted to be her husband. He wanted her to just be his wife and didn't know how to share her with the world with the gifts that she had. And how much do we see that happen, right? Where people are just not able to give other people what they truly want or encourage them in their dreams or just hold people into this little box, and that stifles them. And how often do we not ask for what we need? But then you see this other part later on where Bernie cries at the foot of his tombstone because she wishes that could have been him. right? Why couldn't you have been the person that you were supposed to be? This person that was able to give, this person that was able to love her wholeheartedly, encourage her to be the amazing person that he knew she could be. So the pain of him and her and all of this and not being able to be that family that they wanted to be is heartbreaking to me. And I hope that I am forever able to support my husband's dreams. I hope that he is able to support my dreams and encourage me, and there's no competition about, yeah, all of that. And then in that same section, Margaret is asked, what do you think he should have done about her dad? She turns those full force of those shining blue eyes on me. For the one you love, anything. You unmake the world and build a new one. You do anything to give them what they need. And when I reread that after reading the whole story, and I'm getting shaky again because she did absolutely that. She sacrificed everything. And I told you spoilers, right? But she gave up her child so that she did not have to live in this world that she was trying to escape from, because it was too much. It was too many tabloids. It was just, they could not live their life. And so she gave up everything. She literally unmade the world for her child. And was that a good decision? Was that a bad decision? They'll never know because you can't live parallel lives. And then to find out that Nicolette came back into the limelight again because of the choices she made and the mayor that she married and all of that was heartbreaking for Margaret. And can you imagine, you gave up everything to see this person that you absolutely loved and you could not spend your life loving go back into what you tried to save her from? Oh my gosh, this is just... And then the only other one that I will share, even though it is full of it, and I'm going to be like looking back through it for so long. I'm going to go buy this book because I need it in so many ways and mark it up in so many ways. But the letter, guys, the letter at the end that Margaret received from Alice, because Margaret would not let Alice tell Hayden, right? And it was a deep love letter. Should I read it? Okay, I'm just going to read it. Dear Margaret, you asked me once if you could trust Hayden. I told you that you could, but that wasn't the whole truth. Yes, he has some walls up, the same as you do. And just like you, he has his reasons. He's careful about who he lets in. But when he does, he loves them wholly. He's blunt and he's honest, but he's never cruel or unkind. He can be hard to read, but he doesn't play games. He doesn't sleep well. He knows where every 24-hour diner is within 40 minutes of Little Crescent, and probably where all of them are back in his neighborhood too. He's careful about his health. He doesn't have a complete family medical history to rely on, so he tries not to take risks. He's funny, very funny, but because he's so dry about it, it might take you a while to realize that. He never wears shorts. He's afraid of snakes, but not so scared he wouldn't protect you from one if he came to it. He's generous and thoughtful, and every second you spend not getting to know him is a second wasted. I don't know what your daughter will say if you ask again for a chance to know her, and I can't know for sure what Hayden would say either, but I know he takes life seriously. I know he's not the kind of person to put off uncomfortable conversations now and regret not having them later. He is, I think, the most wonderful person I've ever met, and in the interest of full disclosure, I have a personal stake in whether you tell him the truth or not because I love him with every fiber of my being. As someone once told me, when you love someone, you do anything to give them what they need. You unmake the world and build a new one. I've already lost him, but maybe you don't have to. Either way, he deserves the chance to say yes or no. He deserves to be asked. Your friend, I hope, Alice Scott. And then because Emily Henry is funny, after that, he asks, is it true? And we all know he's talking about the do you love me part. But she says, her connection to you? Of course, that's not what she's talking about. He's talking about the part that you love me. Of course it's true. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, this is the fourth time that I read that letter part of it, and I'm still crying. I'm such a mess. But all that to say, it is absolutely fantastic. Every story is worth telling, and there are so many lives in here, so many stories that over combine, and you see this generation of sins and things passed down. And just as a parent, it's like, how much do I pass down to our kids too? So much to think about. I loved Funny Story. I loved Book Lovers. Those were my two favorite of Emily Henry's other books, but this just blew it out of the water. Let me know what your favorites are from her, and if you love conversations like this, hit that subscribe button so we can have more book conversations about deep fiction and nonfiction books.